guys. About to go live again for our second hour. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions throughout, please leave a comment. All right, guys, welcome to Wellness Radio. I'm your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren, and we are talking all things health today. So if this is your first time tuning in, welcome.
It probably is, because we're not usually here the second hour.
Well, that's true, yeah. So maybe some of you on the radio that are like, used to hearing something else at noon, this is, or at 11. What time is it?
I don't know. Yeah, it is 11.
11.
But, like, lucky you, because I think we're pretty great on the radio.
Yeah,
we
at least have fun.
We're probably going to piss off some of you guys because we call people out about stuff when it comes to health. Yeah. People don't like it when we say you shouldn't need medication to live and that type 2 diabetes can be reversed.
We've had a couple calls in the past.
We had a couple calls. We had that one guy that got really mad at us.
And yeah, how many medications?
He was on 10 different medications. He called us during our first hour, and he left a message about how we shouldn't be talking about medication. We don't prescribe medication, but that he's on 10.
We're pretty clear about that. We let everybody know that. All my patients know that. We say it multiple times in here. I don't prescribe medication. It's not within the scope of my practice, and guess what? I don't want to anyway, right? Like my job is not to work with medication. My job is to work with the amazing innate intelligence that's inside of every single cell in your body. I was thinking about this the other day. I was having a conversation with a patient in the adjusting bay, because they were talking about how, like, hey, Dr. Nathan, do I need to include, more of these quote unquote superfoods? And I'm like, let's just address this right now. I don't really think there's any such thing as a superfood. And let me explain what I mean by that. Because when you look at something like, an apple or blueberries or spirulina or chlorella or, lettuce or spinach or kale or whatever it is, remember, those things are only as good as your body is able to break them down, assimilate them, and then put them into your cells to literally build living tissue. So what's special? Because I can put some kale right here, and I can just set it here, and I can look at it all day, and it's not going to do crap for my health, right? So is there something special about the kale, or is there something special about your body's ability to break it down and utilize it? And so that's why I don't really necessarily, I wasn't like adding more superfoods. I was like, no, you just need to eat real food. And some of you we may need to alter, the timing that you're eating the food, or we may need to alter the type of food that you're doing just to get the body into a healing state and to better prepare the body to break down those nutrients and assimilate those nutrients. It's literally about the intelligence inside of every single cell in your body, and your body is intelligent. If you don't believe me, right, just think about what happened last time you got a cut on your hand, right? Or like last time Dr. Rebecca tried to chop off her finger. Which seems to be happening, a lot
I
lately.
chopped my finger into my nail, then I cut myself with a can, and then I cut myself with our measuring cups.
Yeah, she's
but it healed.
Struggling here.
Yeah, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling in life right now. But our body's created to heal. Yeah. I know, every time I show you a new cut, you're like...
Every time she grabs a knife now, I'm like, all right, I'm out. Like, I don't even want to see, I don't even see what could possibly happen here. I just, do your thing, and if I hear you yell, then I'll come and help you out, maybe.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So on this hour, we're going to talk about all things men's health, prostate health, testosterone, low T, thyroid, and weight loss resistance, plus more things. The reason why, actually, we have a lot of female listeners as much as male, but you have this men's metabolic reset that's coming up.
I'm smiling because one of the things I was just thinking, I was like, you know what is the first thing I want to talk about here? Because it's a lot of women like to listen to our Facebook, show and everything. So I think we should talk about libido, and I think we should talk about what affects, especially in men, what affects their sex drive, and specifically what can hit that.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that when men come into our office, that tends to be the most common issue that they want resolved, but it's kind of like taboo, or like people feel uncomfortable talking about it. But having a good, healthy sex drive, it's a few different things. It's not just connecting with your partner. I mean, that's huge. That's a big part of connecting and feeling loved, and just having that intimacy. But it's also connected with your ability to feel like as a woman, and to feel like yourself as a man that's able to perform. And I mean, you can go into that
and health.
But I was gonna say the last thing is your sex drive isn't just this annoying thing that's just not doing well. Your sex drive is intimately tied with your hormones, with your heart health, with your metabolic health. So your ability to perform in the bedroom isn't just something annoying that you should just go into a low T clinic and get injected or, you know, whatever for that. It is it's that tip of the iceberg of a big underlying issue for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, really, when you're looking at that, and you're looking at from two different perspectives, from the hormone perspective and also from the heart perspective, right? Those are kind of the two that I really like to dive into, and those are two specific topics that I'm going to dive into in my men's metabolic reset, like to detail, like how to do things to improve cardiovascular health, how to improve blood flow, how to do things like balance hormones. But when you look at those two areas right there, you know, what's interesting about both of those is that both of those can go ignored for decades, and then when somebody dies of a heart attack, we're like, oh my God, like, you know, we think in our head something happened like in the last couple weeks, or no, it's been building for years. When your hormones fall apart, it's not something that just happens overnight, right? Like, it's something that happens over time. When testosterone tanks, it's not just because you're exposed to plastic one time. It's because you were working in a carpet factory that is literally breathing in plastic for the last 30 years, and you are working stinking hard as crap, and now you are retired and you can't even enjoy, you know, your wife in the bedroom or something because you've literally been breathing in, you know, toxic chemicals and plastic for the last 30 years. So it's not something that just happens overnight. It's things that get ignored for decades that lead to issue, you know, again. And how many marriages do you think have probably broken up just from that standpoint alone?
But this is the thing. You don't go from being exposed to toxins, eating bad fats, and then having a heart attack. You go from your body having these issues to you feeling more tired, to you feeling like you're gaining more weight around the belly, to you finding yourself being more angry, and you're not sure, right? As men, like, you get more angry, or you might lash out, or you get frustrated, to now you need Viagra, you need a little blue pill, to again, more fatigue, and just not feeling like yourself. That all happens before the heart attack happens. Okay, because blood flow to that area is what's going to cause you to not be able to perform, not be able to have to need the Viagra, to need the little blue pill. But low blood flow during intimacy means bad blood flow everywhere else. It's a big red flag of a heart issue. And so a lot of you guys are like, well, I got this taken care of because I'm on a statin medication, but the statin medication is not meant to stop a heart attack, right? It's meant to lower cholesterol. Now, is it possible for you to still have a heart attack while having low cholesterol?
Oh, it's happening all the time. We have more and more that it's happening to. Yeah. So
as men, you've got to just take a step back, and you have to reevaluate, how do you want to live your life? Like, you guys are 60 years old talking about I'm old and this is just how it is. Like, 50 years old, when my doctor says I'm old, that's what you want to do for the last 15 years of your life? Or some of you guys are in your 30s. In your 30s, a shell of yourself, and you just are not energized, and you're just like having these issues, and you guys are just living like just not a good existence, not the most optimal that you can.
Yeah, and even speaking from a circulation standpoint, we talk about the heart, but even from a microcirculation standpoint, you guys know one of the biggest damaging, causes of damage to your organs is ischemia, right? It's microcirculation that is being damaged, and so that leads to a major aging process of your organs, and so it's a big deal. Like, it is a very, very big deal. That's why, if you're listening to this as a man, or maybe you're a female listening to this, and you got a husband, or you got a father or grandfather,
which
whoever it is.
Which happens a lot, by the way.
It does happen
a lot of women call in for
which is great. Yeah.
And
Understand is these symptoms are the things that are the red flags. they're not even necessarily the things that lead to the problem. They're red flags that your body's kicking out to say, hey, you got to do something about this. So it's like the belly fat, right? It's like the weight loss resistance. It's like the numbness and tingling that's starting to happen in the legs because your blood glucose and insulin have been off for a little bit. It's like the dizziness that happens when you go from sitting to standing because now your blood pressure is not regulating the way it should. It's like now you're on a little blood pressure medication. Now you're on 2. Now you're on statin medication, and you're seeing all of these red flags show up, and all you're doing is covering them up, or maybe even worse, ignoring it, right? And saying, I also don't believe in doctors, so I don't do anything about it. Like, I don't know, in some cases, like blood pressure, for example, that's even worse. Yeah. Like, I think ignoring the problem might be even worse than you at least being on a medication because you're not doing anything else for it. And so you've got to look at that progression of symptoms and say, at what point are you going to break that cycle? Right? At what point are we going to actually turn that around and start doing the opposite and reverse engineering it and actually getting you to a point where now you're coming off of those medications? And that's what we do in my reset group, right? That's the whole point of it, is that, again, we are reverse engineering that, and I'm doing it in a systematic way. That's the one thing I've told every single person I've talked to on the phone so far, is it is a process. I'm going to teach you that process. Because my goal, right, it is the same with my goal of any patient that I see or any coaching client that I work with, that I want you to learn how to get well and how to stay well, right? My patients that we have, the majority of my patients have been with us for years, but it's not because they absolutely need us. They're in here because they want to optimize their health, right? There's a difference between that. And so when I'm going over our men's metabolic reset, I'm teaching you, here's the systematic process to go from point A of eating standard American diet, feeling like crap and not feeling like yourself, to point Z, where you start to get to see the light and you get to see, oh man, a whole different way of living, whole different way of eating, whole different way of exercising, whole different way of taking care of my health, a whole different way of feeling. You get to see from point A to point Z how to actually get to that process, and you're going to have all the tools that you need to do it. And oh, by the way, you're actually going to have a support group with you that's going to be doing the exact same thing. That's what makes it so much fun, and that's also what makes it so successful. So if you're listening on the radio show, or on the radio show, if you're listening on the radio, if you're on Facebook, if you're a man in your mid 30s, or if you're a man in your mid 70s or mid 80s, guys, we can make a major difference in your health, and we're going to by teaching you those principles that help. I don't care what age you're at. If you've got some time, your body can do some healing. And that's what's so great about it. So,
but they can't just sign up.
Nope.
You guys have to there's a free consult you get to do with Dr. Nathan. So if this is your first time tuning in and you're like, oh my gosh, that's me, I want to do something, or like, man, that's my husband. What you can do is just set up a free consult, private consult with Dr. Nathan to talk with you about what you have going on with your health issue. You get the doctor's time to talk about what you have going on, or if you just want to be optimal, like what's going on in your life, what goals you want to achieve. And from that consult, Dr. Nathan will determine what's the best course of action. If it's to join his metabolic reset, he will invite you to that. If it's something else, he will give you that advice. But you have to schedule a consult with him. You can't just join the group. There's only 10 spots. 3 have already been taken, and we just opened it up. So give us a call right here at the office at 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360 to set up a free consult with Dr. Nathan. Kate's standing by. Or you can go to our website at drswarren.com. You'll see right under our beautiful family picture the Men's Metabolic Reset page. You can learn more about it, and you can sign up there as well. But we want, you want 10 committed men, 3 of which is already like they're on board, they're ready to go.
Yeah,
and it's going to start in January. But go ahead, once those 10 spots are gone, we can only do 10. Give us a call. The number is 423-362-5360. And this is the Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So some of the things that I brought up there, about these warning signs. I kind of want to go through a little bit of that for you guys on Facebook. So when we're looking at, especially in the realm of like libido and sex drive, I think there's a few major contributing factors to seeing that decrease. And I touched on one for just a second. But one of those is our exposure to molecules and chemicals that mimic estrogen inside of the body. This is one of the biggest things that I see affect especially men's hormones and really tank their testosterone levels over time are some of what are referred to as xenoestrogens or exogenous estrogen like molecules that we're exposed to. And so that can come in several different forms, but we know that things like plastic, like BPA, BPS, and so you'll see kind of this catchphrase on different products out there that say BPA free or BPS free. Just because it's BPA free and BPS free, it's still plastic. It's still got some things in it that probably are not going to be great for your health. And I'll never forget when Dr. Rebecca was working on her podcast and she interviewed Laura Adler, who's actually one of the top experts in toxicity and looking at how to clean up your environment in order to clean up your toxicity levels. And she talked about plastic and how there's several different things that can create plastic issues. One could be dealing with things like abrasions to plastic. So if your plastic that you have at home has like different types of whether it's cuts or slices or abrasions in the material, it will leach plastic into your food or beverage. Heat, or like extreme hot or extreme cold. I shouldn't even say extreme hot, just heat in general will leach plastic. Again, colder material can leach plastic. Things like just aging of the plastic will leach into your food or beverage. So there's several different factors that will cause that. And so that's what we always recommend, just removing plastic from your life the best that you possibly can. It's not only good for your health, but it's good for your overall environment as well too. And so it's a big factor in tanking men's testosterone levels, which in turn is going to tank your overall libido as well too. The second thing, which we've already mentioned, is statin drugs. Statin drugs will tank your testosterone levels. It will tank your hormone levels overall, mainly because when you look at lowering your cholesterol levels, guys, remember cholesterol is the backbone of your sex hormones. And so cholesterol inherently is not good or bad. It's literally it's a major part of your normal physiology and the way that your body does things like repair vessels. It can have some antioxidant type activity. And so if we lower our cholesterol levels, we know that is going to directly affect again your overall sex hormones. It's going to affect the way that you're able to build up your libido and build up your testosterone. So plastics and statins are going to be two of your biggest hits as far as your libido goes and your sex drive. And we'll talk about some more as well, and we can even dive into some of those, some quick solutions as well too.
We're about to go live on the radio show.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I'm your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm the minor expert, the real expert.
I was like, what about me? I'm like sitting here. I usually introduce the both of us.
You can introduce us next time. How about
Okay.
that? Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, both on Facebook and on the radio, right?
Some of you guys are like, who are these folks? Well, get ready. We're going to start doing a second hour every Saturday. And I can promise you this, we're going to be 20 times better than whatever was here before.
No doubt, yeah. No offense to them, those individuals.
I don't even know what was here. I don't think there was anything here, was there?
I don't remember.
Either way, we have been on the radio for 5 years now.
Whoa, holy moly.
He always forgets that because I told you the anniversary a couple months ago. Yeah. I remember our first radio show, we had PowerPoints and we were like so nervous, and now we're so passionate about what we do. We get on here and our hope is this, that you guys can be educated on a different side, that you guys feel empowered to take responsibility for your health, that you guys feel encouraged that you can do something if there's a goal you want to achieve, or if you're feeling like crap, or if you have pain, if you have blood sugar issues, whatever it may be, that you feel that listening to our radio show encourages you. Guys, some days we go off and talk about, you know, COVID the whole hour like we did our first hour. And today we're talking about men's hormones. Whatever it may be, we want to empower you to make the best decision for your health. We don't want to make that decision for you because your health is your responsibility. Not ours, not your doctor's, not your insurance company, not your partner, no one. It's your responsibility. So it's 100% up to you what your life and what your health looks like. And so we're talking about all things men's health. And you know what I was thinking? I was like, why am I even talking, right? Like, why? Like, we're talking about men's health, but this is why. Because you've got to toot your own horn, and if I'm not here, you won't do it.
Yeah.
Because your last men's reset group was, I was jealous. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'll do a women's reset group after this, but it's you. Are you guys ready for this? He's going to feel so awkward. You encourage, you pour into, you educate. Every single man in that group, they felt connected to each other because they were taking something on.
Yeah.
There's this idea of what it looks like for a man to grow old, and collectively these group of men said, I'm not going to stand by that.
Yeah.
My life is going to get better as I age. This new season, whether it's retirement, whether there's one guy that had a new baby, whatever it may be. We had a younger guy who was like in his late 20s.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, they chose that moving forward, their health was going to look different.
Yep.
And you led them in that. And so we had collectively, I think, like 50 pounds lost, blood pressure. And it's still, the last group was a couple months ago. I don't know. COVID time is blurry, yeah. But these guys off blood pressure medication, reversed their diabetes, skin issues. But it's not because, you know what I was thinking the other day? I was like, dude, we don't prescribe medication. But do you know how easy it would be to prescribe medication? That if you're a man and you don't have energy, that you can just give someone testosterone and all of a sudden they feel fantastic. It covers up a symptom and never gets down to the cause. So it does take a little bit more work to heal naturally, but it's long lasting. You feel completely different because your body is healing. So I just wanted to toot your own horn. Men's Metabolic Reset. You can find out more about it on drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. Or if you're interested in this, we can give you more information. You can call the office right now and schedule a free consult. I say 15-minute consult because I want to make sure Dr. Nathan hears this. It's 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
He could talk to you guys for an hour on the phone, and you would totally talk to him for an hour. But the consult is to see where you're at, what symptoms you have going on, or what your health goals are, to see if you're a good fit for a men's metabolic reset. If you'd like to set up a time with Dr. Nathan, you can give us a call at 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. I want to say one more thing, too. If you're first time listening, we are doctors of chiropractic and functional wellness practitioners. You will not be coming to us for a jab or a medication. You come to us to heal the body, to heal your own body, to actually get down to the cause and get well. So if you're like, what kind of doctor is he? He's not going to be prescribing you medication.
Nope.
He's going to be teaching you the right way to do things.
No quick fixes in here, and I say that with pride because I know for a fact you do not need and you do not want a quick fix. You may think that you want a quick fix, but I promise you this: quick fixes are always covering up an issue, and the problems get worse over time, right? So, like when you talk about something like cancer, people don't realize cancer, on average, 7 to 10 years, it builds up in the body before it shows its first symptom. Which means what? If you are like, you're underlying, let's look at prostate cancer, right? Like even when it's, just starts off as stage 1 prostate cancer or something, it's been building in your body for years, right? It's been building for years, so we can't just base it on the symptoms that we feel. I think that one thing is really important to note as well, like is the subjects that I'm going to be going over. So I'm going to be going over how to get your body into ketosis and how to do that in a safe and effective way. Because I've really started to notice, more and more in the office that I have people coming in that have said that they've, dabbled in keto or they're doing keto. And they're doing it completely wrong. They're literally consuming massive amounts of conventional dairy and destroying like some of their gut lining, and they're creating allergic reactions inside their body, massive amounts of inflammation. artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame are in there. They're not really paying attention as much to the ingredients as just the carbohydrate load. And so I'm going to teach you how to actually get the body in ketosis.
And are you saying that they don't have to be vegan to be healthy? Like they can actually eat a good steak?
I mean, I'll come out and say, I mean, I'm always
you
more
can be vegan.
You
if
can.
You want to.
You can.
You don't have to.
No, exactly. And like I tell every, I've had I have a lot of patients who are vegan, but they also know, like, these are ones that do it the right way if they're going to do it. Like, and it takes more work, and they even admit that. They're going to be more like, like the rich rolls out there they're vegan, but they go above and beyond to make sure they get tons of good healthy fat. They're eating some of those quote unquote superfoods because they have some of those like choline and zinc and some of those deficiencies that you get. But yeah, I'm not going to teach that, right? I'm going to teach how to do it from the standpoint of eating a real food diet, focusing on pasture raised meats, wild caught fish and seafood, lots of pasture raised eggs, things like good healthy fats like nuts and seeds and olive oil and olives and avocados, healthy vegetables, fruit. But then also I'm going to teach about timing, right? Because it's not just about the food you consume. Sometimes it's about the timing. How do you fast? What types of fasting are right for the individual?
Can we also talk about this? Because for a lot of men, I mean, it's the number one killer in men and women. There's this really big scare with cholesterol. But let's talk about that, because low T is a common issue and prostate issues, and you touched on during the break. I think we should do it during the radio show. But cholesterol is produced in your own body. Okay, it's in your liver. A majority of it is produced in the liver.
I think it was like 80% produced in the liver.
75 to 80%. And cholesterol is the building block for your steroid hormones, meaning testosterone. You still have estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, cortisol. Like, it's protective for your brain. So Alzheimer's and dementia is protective for your organs. Like, cholesterol is a response to something.
Can I just say too?
Yeah.
Those of you that are scared to death of LDL, right? Did you guys know that there's about, I think it's 15 or 16 peer-reviewed studies clearly showing that actually, in some cases, LDL, right, has shown protective factors and protective properties for preventing like all-cause mortality and lower death rates. Like specifically, when you look at like Alzheimer's and dementia, there's been some pretty great studies on actually elevated LDL being protective for Alzheimer's and dementia. So cholesterol is not what you think it is, and it's so wild how it really in our medical realm, it's like cholesterol is the nail and statins are the hammer, and that's the only thing that's going to be talked about and utilized.
And then understanding that LDL and HDL are not good or bad, they're carrier proteins. Yeah. They're the vehicle for your cholesterol to get where it needs to go. It's like saying there's a fire at your house and the firefighters are LDL. They're going there to take care of it, and then the HDL, the firefighters going back to their station. Yeah. And so let's say there's a fire in your house. You want the firefighters to go there and you want them to go back, right? But the next day, when there's no fire, if you're still calling the fire station, the firefighters are going to show up, right? The LDL is still going to show up if there's still an issue there. LDL carries cholesterol to where it needs to go, and HDL goes back. Is it possible that you have low testosterone, and you're going to touch on some causes of low testosterone after the break? Is it possible that your body sees that you have low testosterone because you have estrogen dominance, because of toxins, and so your body's trying to help you by creating more of the building blocks, because it's saying we don't have enough testosterone. This is essential to being a man. So you have all this high LDL trying to take cholesterol there to address an issue, but then you go to your doctor, and the doctor's like, the statin medication, we got to bring down the cholesterol, so now you stop moving the cholesterol. Now you have low testosterone, which leads to a myriad of issues, right? Yep. So we have to go on the break. This is the Wellness Radio. If you'd like to know more about Dr. Nathan's Men's Metabolic Reset, you can go to drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. Right there under our family picture, you can click and find out more and sign up there. Or if you'd like to sign up for a free consult with Dr. Nathan to see if joining this metabolic reset will work best for your health goals, give us a call here at the office. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. And then Dr. Nathan can let you know what it looks like to get signed up. We only have 10 spots, in-office spots. 3 have already been taken. Give us a call. This is the Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So yeah, it's funny. Why do we only do 10 spots in here? It's not because of social distancing. I promise you that. It's because I like to keep the group like at a certain level where I can individually interact with people. Right? If I'm doing a reset group with 50 to 100 people, yeah, we can get out information, but I can't quite be as specific. And we'll do some of those later on. But this is more individualized, and that's what makes it so much fun. And that way also too, when you start to get the results that you want, we get to celebrate that too, and we get to really kind of come around and have a good time. But yeah, so in the realm of testosterone, really, if you look at the two biggest hitters, stress, toxins. Stress, toxins are going to be your 2 biggest hitters there. Stress from the standpoint of some men, like, and again, I've fallen in this category many times, and I would even say we all do in cycles. Is that, like, man, you're waking up early, you went to bed late because the kids kept you up, you woke up early because you're going to work.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? The kids kept you up?
Let me just say that I'm going to describe my life sometimes.
First of all, the kids don't keep you up late, okay? I look over and the kids sleep in our bed because of his fault. Just on the record. You're leaned over that way, but I can understand Rosie. You can hear her.
Oh my gosh!
You
Yes.
do not deal with them in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So anyway, let me go back to my story, not her story. My story. So you go to bed. You go to bed. You're kept up late. You wake up early. You're jamming. Lots of coffee down. Maybe you're jamming a lot of calories and some of them really processed calories. Down your throat to try to stay awake and to stay up. And then you hit like kind of that mid-afternoon time. And again, you're just like, well, I'm just going to push through it. And I've been in that category too, where instead of actually fasting, I'm more starving, right? And that's not a great thing either, because sometimes that starts to shut down the adrenals even more. And then next thing you know, you're wired and tired at night. That will take your testosterone levels, right? And that's a stress.
I have to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so it sounds like you would be a great fit.
Welcome back to the Wellness Radio. Dr. Rory, Dr. Rebecca Warren here with Dr. Nathan Warren. We're talking about all things men's health. Dr. Nathan's going to go into what causes a lot of testosterone issues in men and what bombards like your prostate. Why is it that everyone's having an enlarged prostate? That's just not normal, right? Numbers going up. More about us. We are doctors of chiropractic. We are functional wellness practitioners. So we specialize not in treating your symptoms. There's plenty of people here in Chattanooga all over that can give you a pill, a lotion, a potion, whatever you need to treat the symptom.
We don't even treat neck pain, back pain, and headaches.
Yeah.
Like, right? You can come in with those symptoms, but our goal, our primary goal is to correct structure, right?
Yes,
It's not to pound down a hot spot.
Yeah.
That's if your pain goes away in your lower back, or your headache goes away, or your neck pain goes away, it's a side effect of structure changing and physiology changing, right? So it's not even treating symptoms ever.
Yeah. And so Dr. Nathan has a men's metabolic reset. We have a lot of interest. A lot of people have been calling
That's
to
good.
sign up for that
Exciting.
free consult. That 15-minute consult is to see what symptoms and goals you have, to see if you fit in a great fit for Dr. Nathan's men's metabolic reset. It's a 7-week program that begins in January. He's done it multiple times now. Men have reversed their diabetes, gotten off blood pressure medication, seen their skin issues, and created a good community of other men that are kind of taking a stand and saying, I don't want to grow old and be sick. I want to grow old and live the best years of my life.
Yeah, man.
And
Enjoy
so,
your retirement.
Yeah, and from there, if you're a good fit, Mary Beth lets you know exactly what it looks like to sign up for our program. But if that's you, of course, you can give us a call, 423-362-5360, or go to drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. But let's talk about why there's this epidemic here in the U.S. of men whose testosterones are tanking.
Yeah. I'm gonna give. I even thought of an even more relevant scenario.
Okay.
You ready? So let's paint the picture of the average male in America. Okay. So let's just kind of start with in the morning. You wake up early in the morning, right? Because you got to go to work. Actually, I saw one study that showed that the average working male in America wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. The average working male in America wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. And so knowing that, right off the bat, that's a pretty early start, right? Maybe not a bad idea if you went to bed early, but how many individuals actually do that?
And how many individuals watch TV before going to bed?
There you go. Yeah. And so you wake up early in the morning. Majority of men, what are you already doing while you're getting ready? You have what on? You got the television on.
Or talk radio.
Or talk radio. And guess what the subjects are on these radio stations, on TV? They're talking about, COVID, they're talking about death, they're talking about cases,
Danger.
or they're talking about politics and all the stress that comes with that. So literally 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and you are already stressed out. You're stressed out about something that you can't even do anything about, and you haven't even got to work yet.
Yeah, but the thing is this, but I'm not stressed out.
No,
No.
that's right.
Internally, your body is always gathering from its environment.
Yeah.
Your body sees stress as a tiger coming after you or downloading messaging that the world is falling apart. You might not feel your heart rate go up or your blood pressure start rising or your sympathetic going into effect, but we do know through studies, through testing, that it does.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, no doubt. And so now you're driving to work, and what does everybody just love to deal with, especially here in Chattanooga? It's fantastic, especially with all the amazing road work that's going on, which we're so blessed to have the road work. You get to deal with traffic. And traffic always makes everybody happy, right? And so now your body's like, oh, another tiger's chasing me. And you're just sitting in your car. You haven't even gotten to work yet, right? And now because you're in traffic, maybe you're running a little bit late. Oh, man, you better make it to the office as fast as you possibly can. Oh, but by the way, when you get to the office, right, everybody's, no longer who they actually, what it used to be, because now you got to stay 6 feet away from everybody. You don't get to see them smile at you because everybody's wearing a mask, which just, even if you quote unquote gotten used to it, it is still a cortisol response when you see that because there's no expression, right? And so now you're working on a deadline. You got to hit this deadline. Your boss is asking you for it. You're already under more pressure because you have a lockdown.
Fueling yourself for lunch.
Oh yeah. Well, you haven't eaten anything except
little
for
Debbie snacks. What are the
donuts?
What are those little crackers? Those little peanut butter crackers that they get out of the vending machine?
Ritz?
No, they're like the little crackers. If you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. It's been too long for you, but anyways, these little vending machine crackers. You got coffee. You got the Coke, Pepsi, whatever that is. And you're fueling yourself with that.
Yeah. And so now you've hit lunch and you're like, you know what, man, I need to get something to eat. You go and run, you get a processed meal from, McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or, whatever's right there. And so you fuel yourself with fake food, and then you want to take a nap. So you got to say, what? I need a stimulant. And so maybe for some men it's smoking. Maybe for other men it's drinking more coffee. And then by the time you finally get through your day, you're already stressed out from your work. Your body's under major stress from the toxins that you put into it. Now you're headed home, and guess what you listen to on the way home? More stuff about politics and COVID.
Even if you listen to the sports radio, the commercials are like, by the way, everyone's dying. Be afraid, And then you get home.
Yep.
And a lot of you guys need alcohol to help you be able to bring down your nervous system.
Nightcap.
The nightcap, the beer, because your body has just been so overwhelmed all day.
Yeah.
And then you get in front of the TV, and then you fall asleep, and then you start all over. And the scary thing is, I heard a doctor talk on this in this presentation, that you don't even realize that for a lot of you guys, you can go days without seeing sunlight, without being in direct sunlight. And we know studies say that wrecks our cortisol, it wrecks our melatonin, our circadian rhythm. We just don't sleep. Even if you get hours of sleep, it's not even deep healing sleep.
Yeah.
So here you guys are in this whole stressful situation all day, and then you're told to go low fat, which has never, it's been a lie, it's always been sugar. It's a lie that this low fat thing, you eat the margarine that's one molecule away from plastic, eat the vegetable oil that's rancid, the canola, you're eating all this rancid fat, and then on top of that, men, I don't know if you've heard of this estrogen dominant issues that is wrecking women's health. Well, congratulations, it's now a men's issue too. You have estrogen in your body, very small amounts, but because of your Axe spray, your deodorant, your plastic, because of toxins at your work, you're being bombarded by molecules that look and act like estrogen in your body. So what does that mean? Well, if you have a lot of estrogen in your body, it's going to compete with testosterone, meaning your testosterone is going to start tanking, or it's going to feel like it's tanking because you have all these molecules in your body that act like estrogen. Why is it now we're seeing more and more cases of men with breast cancer? Because of this estrogen dominant issue. Why are we seeing more men with hormone-based cancers? It's because this estrogen dominant issue. You're rancid, you're inflamed, and then when you go to your doctor, you get what? Blood pressure medication, but it's only a little bit. It's only a little bit. I'm only on a little bit of blood pressure medication. And the next thing you know, now you're on a statin medication, and the next thing you know, you got to get on some metformin. And when men come into our office, men and women, but they come into the office, we look at their paperwork, there's 6 different medications, and what do they usually say about medication? I don't even like taking it. I don't even want to take medication. But that's why you end up here. Unless you're actively doing something different to change your hormone response, your body's response to stress, you need medication or else you will die quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, the medication, unless you're changing things, it's going to be a slower death. I mean, it's going to be postpone the inevitable. But if you have 2 choices, really. Either you decide, you draw a line in the sand and you say, not only don't want to be like this, I don't want to be a statistic, and I don't want to grow old as a statistic, or you can just get on the medication and just wait it out. Because a lot of you guys, 60, 70 years old, apparently that's the end of life. Like, I don't get it. 60-year-olds coming in saying like, well, I'm old and my doctor says I'm old, and that's just crap.
Yeah. But I can give you, even put it in this perspective, right? So your stress, like stress and toxins, like, you know, if a tiger is chasing you, how much do you think your body is focused on, I don't know, having sex, right? Like, you're not, it's not going to happen. And yet, your body is constantly feeling like a tiger's chasing it. You know how I can prove it to you? Because high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, weight loss resistant, those are all signs of stress. Those are all stress-related symptoms. Those are all, I shouldn't even say symptoms, those are stress-related responses, right? Because when a tiger is chasing you, we want your blood pressure to go up. When a tiger's chasing you, we want your blood sugar to go up. When a tiger's chasing you, we want your cholesterol to go up. You know, if you're in a famine time, we hope that your body holds on to fat, right? Like, so these are all stress responses. And so again, what do? You can't always take away your job. You can't always take away, you know, the things that are going on in our society. But what you can do is you can help the body better adapt to that stress, and that is the pure and true definition of health. It's how well do you respond and do you adapt to your internal and external environment. The better that you can do that, the healthier the individual is. And that's my goal in this reset group, is to teach you how to better adapt to stress via lifestyle, right? And so again, if you want more information about that, definitely let us know. Again, you can give Kate a call here.
If you guys want to set up a free consult to talk with Dr. Nathan about what your health goals are, and he'll determine if you're a good fit for the group. 10 spots, 3 are already taken. Give Kate a call right now. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360 to set up that call. And if you are a good fit, then our clinic director will let you know how to sign up and what it looks like, the investment to be a part of this group. If you want to go check it out, just read it on your own. Go to drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com, and you'll see a picture there that says Men's Metabolic Reset. and you can look up there, read more about it, and even sign up there. When we come back, Dr. Nathan's going to give you guys some, solutions that you can start doing today to start moving the dial. This is the Wellness Radio, and we'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So, hopefully that gets across. I think a lot of time when we use the word stress, everybody just automatically thinks of like emotional stress and crying. I don't know why that's always the only thing that people think about. It's like, well, I haven't cried, today, so I haven't really been under emotional stress. And it's like, no, we all are at some level. And so it's not really necessarily about getting away from emotional stress, but there are things that really determine how we react to it and how we respond to those things. And so, one specifically is looking at the area of the brain that you guys heard me talk about a lot, and that's the hypothalamus. We know the hypothalamus, if there's dysfunction there, it's going to affect your adrenal glands. It's going to affect your thyroid glands. And just speaking of adrenals for a second, man, that's an area that really it's a pet peeve of mine right now, because in the functional realm, it's like, it's like all they want to do is treat the adrenals without actually addressing what created the adrenal, issues to begin with. And what do I mean by that? Like, yeah, I understand that adaptogens can help you adapt to stress, but I also understand with like recognizing, that also too, the junk food that you've been consuming is not allowing your body to, adapt to stress. The lack of exercise, the lack of, the majority of the toxins that you're exposed to are affecting that your hypothalamic function is affecting that. And it's not just about throwing some great herbs at your adrenals to try to reset it, as much as it is about changing your lifestyle. And so I think even in the functional realm, that's an area that really just drives me nuts. Because of course every single individual that comes in your office, you can be like, yep, they've got an adrenal issue. Well, no crap, we live in a stressful world. They all have adrenal issues. So you got to address overall, lifestyle change. I think that's going to be, of massive importance when dealing with that. And so, and again, I think you probably know better than me, but isn't for men testosterone the primary areas that you're looking at, for its production, or what the testes and the adrenals? Isn't that majority testes, and then the other part of it is adrenals?
Add on to all of that, like, when I first started coaching people on thyroid issues, like the male population was just so small. It was usually like women over 40 that was having thyroid issues, but in the same way that you can cause estrogen dominant issues in men, we're having thyroid issues in men because the thyroid is so sensitive to oxidation, free radicals, heavy metal toxicity. It is just so...
kind of the canary in the coal mine.
It is? Well, no. I would say but if it gets to your thyroid, it's bad. Like, if your thyroid is already starting to show symptoms to the point where you're like, you lose, fatigue and, low energy and weight loss resistant, it's been causing some serious issues underlying. I would say by the time it gets to the thyroid, you can have a thyroid issue for so long and not even realize it. So I would say the thyroid issue is going to go along with the sex hormone issue, is going to go along with the adrenal issues.
Yeah, symptoms may show up later, but the problems are happening immediately, right? Like heavy metal exposure, like the first place it's going to affect is the thyroid. The symptoms may not show up yet, but then they'll show up later as Hashimoto's or thyroid
cancer.
But
it'll go from not being an issue to being a really bad issue.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and again, getting rid of things like antibodies and bringing those down, it's no joke.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Wellness Radio with Dr. Warren. We've been talking about all things men's hormones. Dr. Nathan is going to kind of give you guys some things that you can start doing today. Make sure to check us out at drswarren.com to find out more about his men's metabolic reset, or you can give us a call. But let's talk about some things that men can start doing today.
Yeah, so I think first thing to do is, and I think this is something you can do this through our office, or maybe you've got a good primary care physician. I don't know. but I would say look at some labs, right? Like find out what's really going on inside of the body, right? You have no idea how many men I talk to on a regular basis that either haven't had labs in years, or they get it once a year, and you look at their labs and they're a bunch
There's
of
like
crap.
nothing. It's just like random
It's
tests.
like total cholesterol, CBC, and possibly maybe A1C. You like sometimes not even that.
No, it's A1C if they've had previous blood sugar issues.
Yeah,
but-
otherwise they don't even look at it, So I would say, number one, look at that, right? I mean, just knowing your vitamin D levels can tell you a lot about your hormones.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, if you're deficient in vitamin D, I guarantee you have a testosterone problem. There's no way you don't. It may be subclinical, but it's there. You have an issue with it.
So really quick, total and free testosterone, A1C, fasting insulin, CBC, C-reactive protein, CBC, CMP, your thyroid, TSH, free T4, free T3, thyroid antibodies, reverse T3, A1C, like we talked about, B12 and vitamin D. Go to doctorswarm.com, sign up for our newsletter. We will be sending out an email of this breakdown of labs.
Yeah, and just know, you're gonna have to pay for that, right? Like, I mean, your insurance isn't gonna pay for that because most of your doctors they don't even look at numbers like that because again, that's just not what they do. And we do it from a wellness perspective, right? There's a difference between looking at it from a medical perspective and a functional perspective. But that's the first thing I would say. Like, know what's going on in your body. You can test. Why guess if you can test? The second thing that I would say is, don't ruin your day at the very beginning of it. And what do I mean by that? Like, start your day off right? So like when you wake up in the morning, number one, maybe work on your mindset. Maybe that looks like, prayer or meditation. Maybe that looks like not listening to the radio and listening to worship music or listening
turn
to,
off the TV, turn off the news.
Yeah, just start your day off right, with a good mindset, a positive mindset. And if you're not a positive person, pump it in there some way, whether it's a podcast or, like I said, a sermon or it's music. Like, get the positivity in there because trust me, you're going to get enough negativity throughout the day. That's just going to be how it is. And so start your day off right. Some of you are destroying your health at the very beginning when you first wake up. And then the final thing is, this is something simple that you can all do. Work on trying to go to bed at the same time and trying to wake up at the same time. I know it sounds very, very simple, but here's the thing. It can be one of the most profound things that you do with your health because it can reset your circadian rhythm. And listen, your hormones only really work as well as your circadian biology works inside of your cells. So go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. I would even say, even if that means you only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. Set your circadian clock and your circadian rhythm, and it have a profound effect on your hormones.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is the Wellness Radio. If you would like to sign up for a free consult with Dr. Nathan to see if you are a good fit for the Men's Metabolic Reset, you can give us a call right now at the office to set that up. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. Or check us out at doctorswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. You can find out more about us, sign up for a newsletter, and read about the Men's Metabolic Reset. We'll see you next Saturday.
All right, guys. See ya.